Has any team since Gretzky's Oilers weaponized swagger the way the Florida Panthers just did? In barely 3 seasons, a franchise once hidden behind sunrise beaches and football headlines has morphed into the NHL's nightmare matchup, shattering records, steamrolling higher-seeded rivals, and doing it with a grin that infuriates everyone outside Broward County. Their 2025 repeat wasn't a lucky bounce. It was the logical climax of fearless front office moves, a brash dressing room culture, and numbers so gaudy they feel like typos. Yet the scarier question lingers. With a 3rd straight cup suddenly plausible, are we already staring at the league's next dynasty? Rewind to July 2022 when general manager Bill Zito detonated the roster by swapping franchise fixture Jonathan Huberdeau for Matthew Tkachuk, a blockbuster that injected obnoxious confidence and nightly highlight reel skill. 2 years later, he doubled down, prying 4-time All-Star Seth Jones from cap-crushed Chicago for Spencer Knight and a first-rounder, then blindsiding the league at the 2025 deadline by landing Brad Marchand for a conditional pick Boston never thought would be offered. Each gamble fit Paul Maurice's blueprint of controlled chaos. Add players who chirp as loudly as they score, then trust the room to police itself. Sunrise, once an NHL afterthought, now pulsed with the swagger of a prizefighter who knows he can take a punch and laugh while doing it. But swagger means nothing without proof. Florida's results would soon speak louder than any microphone grab from Tkachuk or Marchand. When the Panthers finally cared, they cared all the way. A pedestrian 47-31-4 regular season gave zero hint of the firestorm to come, yet once the eliminations began, Florida racked up 94 playoff goals, the first club to break 90 since 1991, and tied for 4th most all time. They posted a +38 goal differential, a number whispered in the same breath as the Dynasty Islanders and mid-80s Oilers. Even more unbelievable, they scored 61 times on the road and won 10 road games, obliterating Wayne Gretzky's 1993 Kings for away goal supremacy and tying the all-time wins mark. Those figures aren't impressive, they're historically obnoxious. Elite teams score in waves. Dynasties score from everywhere. Florida's offense wasn't a 2-headed monster, it was Hydra-like. 19 different skaters dented twine, 7 of them defensemen. 6 Panthers hit the 20-point plateau, tying the 1983 Islanders and 1985 Oilers for the league record. Their most delightful chaos gremlin, Brad Marchand, exiled to the so-called third line, who pumped in 10 goals, 7 of them go-ahead strikes, and iced Game 5 of the final with a solo effort that sent Oilers fans streaming toward the exits. Meanwhile, Sam Bennett elbowed his way to Conn Smythe glory with 15 goals and a postseason record 13 on the road, securing an 8-year extension before the championship parade confetti was swept. Florida didn't just roll 4 lines, they unleashed 4 guided missile barrages. If the forwards somehow failed, the blue line simply finished the job. 7 defensemen combining for 18 playoff goals would be absurd on its own. Add the context, those same 7 managed only 37 over the entire 82 game schedule. Gustav Forsling and Jones became hockey's GPS-enabled wrecking crew, while Aaron Ekblad, fresh off a 20-game PED suspension that could have marred his legacy, returned in round 1 and promptly buried back-to-back game winners. His public apology, complete with vows to own every next shift, resonated in a room obsessed with proving doubters wrong. The message was clear. Mistakes happen, banners last forever, and behind that artillery stood a goaltender rewriting his own story. Sergei Bobrovsky's narrative might be the playoffs' most poetic. Once dismissed as an aging cap albatross, the 36-year-old started every game for the 2nd straight spring, finishing 16-7 with a 2.20 GAA, a .914 save rate, and 3 shutouts. The Panthers have already begun quiet talks on a shorter extension, though whispers suggest Columbus product Daniil Tarasov could be groomed as insurance. For now, Bob is the heartbeat, a calm presence who lets Florida's skaters rev at full throttle because they know the last line of defense is unshakable. Numbers and trophies are great, but Florida's most hated and loved identity lives between the whistles. Matthew Tkachuk flashes that trademark grin while chirping entire benches. Brad Marchand practically salivates, figuratively this time, while drawing penalties at will. Florida finished the postseason first in opposition PIMs by a wide margin, baiting rivals into slashes, cross-checks, and post-whistle scrums, then punishing them with an 86.4% kill and momentum-swinging counterpunch goals. Practice days feature staged scrap drills so teammates can refine the art of needling without crossing the projection line. Video sessions dissect not only forechecks but also facial reactions, who loses their cool fastest and how to exploit it. Multilingual taunts, Finnish, Russian, French, keep opponents guessing, and by the third period, most foes look more focused on revenge than hockey. Head coach Paul Maurice calls that edge his roster's superpower, but he's quick to credit Alexander Barkov's monk-like calm for preventing chaos from detonating internally. When Tkachuk or Marchand skate by the opposing bench, Barkov quietly taps gloves with line mates, reminding them to stay on script. Critics howl that the Panthers trample sportsmanship. Florida counters that Stanley Cup rings judge results, not etiquette. In a copycat league, front offices now debate whether to cultivate their own agitators or double down on choir boy culture. Proof that Florida hasn't just won games. They've forced an identity crisis league-wide. Edge alone won't secure a dynasty. You also need cap gymnastics to keep the band together. Florida enters the summer with roughly $19 million in breathing room, and, crucially, most heavy lifting already done. Sam Bennett inked an 8-year extension minutes after hoisting the cup. Aaron Ekblad re-upped on a 5-year prove the doubters wrong contract. That leaves a core of Barkov, Tkachuk, Reinhart, Forsling, Jones, Verhaeghe, and Lundell locked down until 2030 or later, almost all of them still shy of 30 and enjoying Florida's tax-friendly contracts. The biggest looming variables: Sergei Bobrovsky's $10 million cap hit comes off the books next summer, forcing a decision between a short-term extension or a baton pass to 26-year-old Daniil Tarasov, who just posted a .925 in Columbus before being pried loose for futures. Marchand's age curve is real, but analysts note his game relies more on positioning and provocation than raw foot speed, buying Florida at least another season of maximum nuisance value. No team has three-peated in the salary cap era, and contenders are loading up. Toronto splurged on blue line help, New Jersey weaponized their forward depth with a blockbuster for Kirill Kaprizov, and Carolina's analytic department vows to solve the Panthers' road goal blitz. Yet escalating media rights revenue could lift the cap ceiling by up to $5 to $6 million next July, and Florida's front office already tucked performance bonuses into long-term deals to exploit any windfall. Add a prospect pipeline headlined by power forward Macklin Celebrini and mobile defenseman Lane Hudson, both on cheap ELCs until 2027, and the window doesn't merely stay open, it feels reinforced. The Panthers' path to immortality still runs through health and hunger. Three-peat attempts tend to crumble under fatigue or complacency, but their contractual chessboard suggests the door is wide open for another charge. Should they succeed, they won't just rewrite cap-era precedent, they'll force the league to redefine what a sustainable powerhouse looks like in modern hockey. So are we witnessing a peak no one can match, or history still in motion? The 2025 Panthers fuse snarling edge with surgical offense, lockdown defense, and a crease guarded by a rejuvenated legend. They shattered century-old records, tied dynasty-era benchmarks, and did it all while trash-talking louder than a city garbage truck at dawn. Some fans cast them as villains, others hail them as the most electric show hockey has seen in decades. Either way, they forced the league to reckon with a new blueprint, weaponized swagger married to data-driven roster craft. If Florida hoists one more cup, the debate ends. Dynasty status won't be a question, it'll be etched beside the Islanders and Oilers they're already chasing in the record books. And if they fall short, their back-to-back conquest still rewrites what's possible in the salary cap era, proving that calculated risk can trump tradition. So tell us, after consecutive banners, do you already crown the Panthers kings of the cap era, or does the true coronation await an unprecedented three-peat? Drop your verdict below, smash subscribe, and buckle up. Because if history has taught us anything, these cats aren't done roaring yet.